Hi guys. So this video is going to be a very exciting one because firstly it is going to be a 24-hour reading challenge, and secondly I have my friend Urvashi, who is also known as the Code Dose, with me. I'm staying with her for a couple of weeks, so I decided to shoot this video together. We decided to shoot this video together. So in this video, as the name suggests, we will be reading for 24 hours, but the twist is that we won't be reading for 24 hours straight because we can't. Yeah, because we have to sleep. So we have decided what books we are going to read, which I will be sharing with you after some time. So, but there are a few rules that we have made up for this challenge. First rule is that we have to read for 24 hours, no matter how many days it takes us to do that. And the second rule is that we are going to be buddy reading one book, which is The Housemaid's Secret by Frida McFadden. So we will be reading this together, and we will be sharing our views with you as well for all the books. Okay, so let's get started. So I have the stack of books over here that I will be reading in this video. It is a very optimistic stack of books. I have 6 books over here. We'll try to read as many as I can. So we are going to be starting with The Handmaid's Secret. So like we mentioned, this is going to be a buddy read. So this is the first one. This is a thriller. That's all I know about it. So this is a series. The first book was called The Housemaid. This is the second book. So I really like the first one. So I'm hoping that this one also turns out to be good. So this is the book that we will be buddy reading right now. The second book that I will be reading is called Happy Place by Emily Henry. Now, this is a book that I am currently reading, and I'm around 100 pages. I'm around 140 pages into this book. It is pretty nice, but I'm really not feeling like reading a romance book right now. So, yeah, we'll be reading thriller first, and then I will be moving on to Happy Place by Emily Henry. The third book that I have in my TBR is The Inheritance Games by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. Now, this is, I think, a mystery, and it is a part of a 5-parter series. So this is the first book. It is the first part in a 4-book series. So this is the first one. Second is The Hawthorne Legacy. Third is The Final Gambit, and fourth is the Brothers Hawthorne. I have seen this book everywhere on Instagram and on YouTube, and I just feel I'm very, very late to the game in reading this book. So yeah, this is the third book that I will be picking up. The fourth book that I will be reading is called Divine Rivals by Rebecca Ross. Again, very, very famous fantasy read. This is a part of a 2-parter series, so it's a duology. The second one is called Ruthless Vows, and again, it is very, very popular, this entire series. So really looking forward to reading this one. The fifth one that I have, I'm 100% sure you all must have heard about it or seen it somewhere on your Instagram. It is called Powerless by Lauren Roberts. It is again a fantasy book, and it is an ongoing series. A novella is already out. It's called Powerful. And I don't know what will be the name of the second book, but I think it's about to be released in a few months' time. And the last book that I have that I will be reading or trying to read in this video is called Never Lie by Frida McFadden. Another Frida McFadden book of my TBR. I have heard really, really good things about it. So yeah, I'm looking forward to read this one as well. It's the next day, and yesterday we read for about 2.5 to 3 hours. I read for 2.5 hours. She read for 3 hours, and I managed to read almost 50% of the book. I'm on page number 139 right now, and thoughts so far, it's a good book. Of course, it's Frida McFadden, so it's a bit fast paced, but I'm getting a bit of a deja vu from the first book, and she thinks that it's quite similar to one of her other books as well, which was Inmate.
Yes, the
Yeah.
inmate. The stalking part is similar to
The inmate.
book, and yes.
And the wife part seems similar to the first book. So my timer is currently at 21 hours 37 minutes, if you can see it. So right now we're going to head to a cafe to finish the rest of the book. And today we have a goal of reading for at least 6 hours, 6 to 8 hours, and starting a new book, hopefully. So yeah, we'll see you at the cafe. Hi guys. So I don't know what was the last clip I shared with you guys, but we both finished The Housemaid Secret yesterday. And I'm not too sure how I feel about it. I mean, it was a good thriller. It was very fast paced, and I love how Frida McFadden, when she writes, she just writes to the point. We don't get any backstories of the characters or the side characters. Nothing. It's just crisp and to the point. So I love that about it. And there were a lot of things that were completely unexpected, and I just did not see those coming. But it just felt too outlandish. It just felt like it just too far-fetched. The things that were happening in the book is just too high of a coincidence of that happening, and it just felt like a movie, sort of, just completely unrealistic. So yeah, that was my view of the book. And I think Urvashi also felt the same. But if you want to know how much I rated this book, do wait till the end of the video, because I will be sharing all of my ratings at the end. Plus, it will also give me some time to think over on the ratings. So I did not read much yesterday. I read for like around 2.5 or 3 hours. I still have around 14 hours remaining in my timer. So I have not even reached the halfway point, which is extremely embarrassing. Urvashi, how many hours do you have left? Well, she has a little more than 12, so much better than me. So, like I said, yesterday we finished that, and I started a new book, which was Happy Place, which is Happy Place by Emily Henry. So, I have been reading this book. I was already halfway through, and currently I'm on page number 283. I think, I read around 140 something pages yesterday. So, and today also, I did not get a lot of time to read. I read for like around 3 hours or 2.5 hours, something like that. I was just very busy with work and everything. And currently, we both are going to a cafe. So, we are not really sure how much reading we will be able to get in today. Plus, we just started watching a new show which is called Weightlifting Fairies. Fairy, I think it's called Weightlifting Fairy. Fairy. Huh? That's the full name. Weightlifting. Acha, it's Weightlifting Fairy Kimbukchu, and we've watched one episode yesterday and half today. So, really love that. I'm really loving that show. I'm really liking that show. I think I am ready to enter into this world of K dramas. So yeah, that is all that I have right now. So I will let you know once I finished Happy Place. Currently, it's going very so for me. Not very into it. I'll let you know my views on this book when I finish it. Yeah, I'll see you. So, so it's 11:55 p.m. and we are still doing this challenge. I just can't. This challenge feels like it's been like what? We've been doing this for 4 days and it's just not ending. We just didn't imagine. It's been 3 days. We just didn't imagine. Like we really underestimated this challenge. We thought it's gonna be a cake and walk in the park, but it's not. Anyways, so we came back from the cafe. We were reading by the pool, and yeah, I still have around 13 and a half hours left in my challenge. She's doing much better than me. She has, I think, 11 and a half something, 11 hours or so. I'm almost done with the Happy Place. I have like 30 pages left. It feels like it has just picked up. In the starting of the book, it was all stuff that I didn't really care about. I'm gonna share my views on my detailed views on this book after I read it, of course. But yeah, let's continue reading. So I just finished reading Happy Place by Emily Henry, and I don't think I've ever been more disappointed by a book like I was with this one. I had heard so many positive reviews of this book. Like, you cannot even imagine how many people loved this book. I think it is still it is a very highly rated book. It's all over Instagram. I saw it all over YouTube. But it is, I mean, the whole story is at the back of the book. So we have Harriet and Win. They are the perfect couple. But what happens is that they break up. And this is all in the at the back of the book, so it's not a spoiler. So they break up, but there is a holiday home where all of their friends meet, I think, every summer. But they broke up 6 months ago. So they still haven't told anyone. So it's kind of like a fake dating trope that they go there and they are pretending that they are still together. So this is the entire plot. There is nothing else. There is just one a little emotion. There is one emotional element which did not feel very deep. To be honest, I feel like it wasn't very talked about. If you have read this book, I think you all know what I'm talking about, but I'm not going to tell you that to ruin it. But I obviously knew before reading this book what's going to happen by the end of it, but I just did not imagine, I just did not think that it's going to be nothing apart from that. There was no, like very romantic lines, or I don't know. I love tabbing my books, and I have only two tabs on this book, only two lines that I felt were cute enough to tab. So I was highly, highly disappointed by this book. Plus, I was just literally skimming through it. This book could have been so much shorter, so much shorter. It's like 388, 85 pages long, and I feel like it could have been like 100 pages book. There is absolutely nothing that is going on in this book. There are so many details about things that we don't really care about. For example, if she's doing pottery, there are like 3 pages of how she's doing pottery. Like, we don't care. I don't want to know about that. I feel like I'm coming off too harsh, but I'm just very disappointed with this book. And I love Emily Henry. I read her Beach Read, the book by her called Beach Read, I think in 2022. And I remember I gave it 5 stars, but I don't remember what really happened in that book, but I remember giving it 5 stars. But reading this, I think if I reread Beach Read right now, I don't think I'm going to rate it 5 stars. Again, I just could not relate very much to this. I loved them as a couple. They had their very cute moments, and I loved how Vin used to talk to her and talk about her. But still, there is just no plot. I feel the plot was lacking. There was just so many details about so many things that I did not really care about at all. I remember I bought this book along with book lovers. So now I'm highly skeptical about reading book lovers. I feel like I'm not going to enjoy that. And I don't think that's the book that I'm going to be picking up very soon. Anyway, so I just read this book, like I said, and at my timer, I am at 12:12. It says 12 hours, 12 minutes. I still have, so I have hit the halfway mark, not quite, but yeah, I have hit the halfway mark. And so now I have the hardest decision to make, which book should I be reading next, which book I will be picking next. So let me just bring my TBR. Let me just bring my TBR over here. Okay, so we have the Inheritance Games, we have Divine Rivals, Never Lie, and Parlous. Just to feel good about reading a large number of books, I don't want to pick up Parlous because it's a very thick book, and it is going to take me a long time, I think, to finish this. And but I do have 12 hours, so but I'm still not gonna pick that up. So we have 3 books: Inheritance Games, Divine Rivals, and Never Lie. I don't want to pick up Divine Rivals right now because the next book that I will be reading will be Parlous. I don't want to read two fantasy books, one after the other. So we have Never Lie and The Inheritance Games. I just read a Frida McFadden book, so I'm not going to pick that up. So the next book that I'm going to be reading is The Inheritance Games by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. So this is going to be the next book. So right now it is actually 1:42 a.m., but we do not feel like reading anymore. We are just going to be doing some skincare and watching K-drama, the show that I was watching, Weightlifting Fairy. So we're gonna watch that and take a break from reading. I feel like it's gonna take us 4 days to complete this challenge, but let's see. So yesterday we did not film anything because we were just so focused on finishing our challenge, and all we did was read. I think we read for I don't know, like 7-8 hours.
For sure.
Yeah, 7-8 hours yesterday, and it was just too much. So that we just read and then we watched some K drama, and that was it. She introduced me to Goblin yesterday. Anyway, so we finished our reading challenge finally, and it is so we just didn't imagine that it's going to take us 5 days. I think doing it in one go would have been so much easier, because all we did was read, and a little bit of work and gym and other stuff here and
And
there.
to point out that we paused our timer every single time we would
Yes.
get up to drink
Yes.
water.
Yeah. We were like we acted like really good kids, and we did not cheat at all. We have finally finished it. It took us 5 days, but it's fine. So, in order to celebrate that, we just went out to have some food and some drink.
Drunk. Like we're drunk.
It feels like such a great accomplishment to finally finish this challenge. So right now I'm gonna go through all of the books that I read and what ratings I gave and share those with you. So let me know in the comments if you have read any of these books. So yeah, let's start. So time to quickly go over all the books that I read and all the ratings that I gave and a little summary of what my views were on the books. So the first book that I read was The Housemaid's Secret. I think I already shared my views in depth about this one, but yeah, it was a really good thriller. I love Frida McFadden's books. This is the second book that I have read by her, but I'm really looking forward to read more of her books. So this was actually about a maid. So this book is actually about a maid whose name is Millie, and she goes to work at a new place, and over there she meets Mrs. Garrick, and she finds things to be a little fishy, and then it is about her experiences on how she deals with that particular situation. It is a little similar to the first book. So like I mentioned earlier, this is a really good book. It just kept me on the edge of my seat at all times. But I gave this book a 4 star because, like I mentioned, it is very outlandish. It just felt like I was watching a Bollywood movie. There were a lot of coincidences that never really happen in real life, and it just felt too far-fetched. So that this was the first book that I read. The second book that I read was Happy Place. I think I ranted a little bit about this book. Do not hate me for this, please, but I rated this book a 3 star. I wanted to rate it a 2.5 star, but I feel like that would have been too low, but it's somewhere between 2.5 and a 3 star. I know a lot of people love this book, but it just wasn't for me. I don't know if it's because I had really high expectations from this book, or because it was a romantic. I obviously knew what the ending was gonna be, but I just didn't expect it to be so boring. I literally skimmed through this book in the middle of it. All I cared was just a few pages, like few ending pages where you get to know what happened between them, what made them break up, and then how they are, like what happens towards the end. So that was the only interesting part about this book. Otherwise it was just very boring, and there were so many details that I just did not care about. So yeah, this is the second book that I read. Now the third book that I read was a book that I had not included in my TBR. It was 48 Laws of Power by Robert Greene. This is a non-fiction book, and I just went through like a few pages of this book, around 40 pages of this book, and I just almost fell asleep. It is not my cup of tea. It's not like I don't like non-fiction books. I do, but I just felt very bored while reading this. So I just DNF'd it, at least for now. I might pick up this book a few days later, but currently it is a DNF for me. And yesterday, after I DNF'd 48 Laws of Power, I picked up The Inheritance Game by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. This book is going really well. Actually, I am on chapter number 83 right now, and I'm just like 50 pages left to finish this book. And I think I'm gonna get this finished either today or by tomorrow morning. By the time this video is out, I obviously would have read this book, so I'm gonna leave my rating somewhere on the screen right now. So this book is actually, like I mentioned, it's a series. It's a 4-parter series. This is the first book of the series. To give you a quick idea of what this book is about, I'm just gonna quickly read the back of the book. So this book is about Avery, who is a normal school kid, and then what happens is that a billionaire dies, and he leaves her almost his entire fortune, and no one knows why that is. And what happens is that she moves into this mansion that she has inherited, along with all the family members of that billionaire who were basically kicked out of his will. So this mansion is filled with secrets and codes, and of course the relatives. and they all want to discover why every got their money, and the winner takes all of the money. So soon she is caught in a deadly game that everyone in this strange family is playing, but just how far will they go to keep their fortune? So I have no idea. This book is going actually really, really well. What I love about this book the most is that it has very, very short chapters. It has like 3 pages chapter, 4, 5, and maximum were like 8 pages chapter, 8 pages. So and that's why I'm really, really loving this book. These are all the books that I read in this challenge. I am definitely looking forward to do this challenge again, and more chances are that I'm going to do the 24-hour reading challenge in a single go instead of breaking it up into multiple days. But yeah, that video is going to be out soon, keep an eye out for that, and I will see you in my next video.